Briefing cleared for takeoff.
Hello guys, welcome to Archetype Insights with me Sharon today. How are you all? Well, I'm just taking a lot of involvement in many other projects, so not much time to do the insights, but I made a point that I wanted to release maybe religiously working on my insights and interpretations, and probably with a new more channel in the coming few months or so. But yes, of course. So my apologies not being very constant these days. However, insights and interpretation will never stop, so you can expect more episodes coming. But it just my focus was a little drifted to other projects, so I was unable to come up with many new, insights to viewers. However, today we will be talking about the monarchy, the fall and the rise of the monarchy, or the fall and the rise and the a reign of the new monarchy, which is gonna set a new dimensions to the world. I'm talking about um, the loss of Queen Elizabeth II and the throne and the crown, and who would be the next monarchy to be really looking forward to. So let's just talk everything in detail after a short while. Till then, stay tuned. Yes, guys. Well, the rise of the monarchy is something. It just it's my understanding. Why do I have to make this when we all are discussing it on the YouTube? It's like a brilliant job for everybody to watch about Prince Harry and royal family tensions and disparities and stuff like that. But at this point in time, we need to stay patient. We need to stay discreet from those people whom we are hurting, and we do not have a right to objectify them or their presence in the royal family and their expression. I really don't like some YouTubers coming out with deliberate attempt to defame Meghan Markel, because I feel like she's a woman. On the other hand, she had a different intention or dual intention to enter into the royal family, or probably to gain more attention for herself, or to whatever it could be. But since we have to appreciate that whoever has a wrong intention will never gonna stay for long. That phase will have to be drifted, and it will fall finally, and you can definitely see the truth behind those masks. But it doesn't mean that you every time you have to talk so disgracefully about a lady who is being married to Prince Harry, and she's a beautiful mother of two kids, and raising up and fighting against to every standard and protocols in order to have the freedom of expression and freedom to live happily ever after. So that expression should always be appreciated rather than to demoralize it or defame it in such a way that the person does not even feel to exist anymore. you know Already the embarrassment is quite high. Already people are neglecting her. Already she's been outcasted. But think about her mother, what she is going through. Think about her parents who has raised her, what they must be feeling about her. One thing for sure, guys, a female can make a home and also can break their home. So it's all up to the time, and the time is the pure essence who can actually reveal the truth of who is what. But that does not mean that people should take advantage just to make your viewers high or your subscription higher. You can go to an extent to defame that person. We should keep a discreet observation about what is what, and Dr. Grant have been doing a great job of uh, doing the observation, which is perfect, and there's no way we could go against Dr. Grana because he's a psychologist, and whoever does not have that kind of a certification or a degree to hold against to a particular person or observe a particular person. I think not everybody should be invited to suggest anything about a celebrity. And of course, even if we deny for the fact, but we have to appreciate that she's a celebrity for some reason. She must have struggled really hard. She must have gone through different phases of trial and errors, and that's how she got one project to act, and that's how she is a celebrity. And what if she fell in love with someone who is from the royal kingdom? There's nothing wrong in it. And if she could not follow the protocol of the royal family, obviously who wanted to be in the institutional world for a long time, who loved freedom, who wanted to enjoy with the outside world, never like to be imprisoned for in a particular institution or in a particular area of the world which is really distant from outside world, and does not allow much to do, doesn't have any freedom to express, and is not very open-minded either. So you have to understand many aspects of it and stop deframing a woman to the extent that she feel like not worthy even to exist as a woman, as a mother, as a wife, or neither a part of the royal family, although she has been expelled or being outcasted. But it's something, it's their fault also. When I've been observing certain episode of Prince Harry and the way that interview went with Oprah or Winfrey, it's something very demotivating to everyone. I do not understand why Prince Harry have to go against to it. If he wanted to have a freedom, just walk out and just say that it was our choice. We don't want to say anything against to them. It's really good, great, but we want to start our family, which is not possible, and should have moved out from the royal family in such a fashion that will not be disappointing any of the royal family members. And it's a gratitude despite everything the couple tried to disgrace them, their royalty, and their years of reputation, which it takes not for a normal human or capacity to build such a monarchy with an extraordinary hard work and extraordinary work and dedication. They should zip their mouth and respect the authority figure rather than go against to them and demoralize their spirit to work for the kingdom, not just for the kingdom but also for the country. You have to understand the monarchy of the England is not made only for that throne and for the crown. It is being given with certain duties and responsibilities to handle the politics very well, and how those administration can impact a huge amount of life, consequences of life, and administration is the only way to rule the kingdom. And beautiful administration can be executed and can be carried on for years and for centuries long. And not just that, it has its impact upon the economical front to development of many nations, and to the financial front, to the war and terrorism. So you should be having a respect and hold respect towards such a great monarchy and never to go against to them. And I do not felt that fear factor in both the couples. Maybe perhaps the death of Diana and in a very early age of losing your mother, whom you felt as the whole world, and her charisma and her liveliness made you feel life. And once that life is gone and you are succumbed into people and places which uh, will give you everything but does not connect to you well, or probably who is not having the freedom restrict you in many ways to express. And of course, a child's life, if you would just observe Prince Harry, after losing the mother, that is Princess Diana, even before that, the tensions in the family. A child understands many things in the womb, so do in the environment. So if the parents are having a multiple, interest and not very interested to sustain the marriage in a good manner, but they pretend to become a good couple for the kids take those instincts and they understand from the instinct of the parents what's the truth of this relationship, and that will automatically abandon them in a way that they have to struggle hard to trust anybody. So this kind of abandonment issues is very much observed. Even Princess Diana, who have gone through the broken marriage and her life being structured of really being succumbed into her own world, and she got her own shield of world. And though that world is very beautiful, but it's not very easy to open up with someone. And when she have gotten a husband who's really not very much committed to her, and there is another person involved in it, the entire life is subjective to different consequences, of actions and requests to get an attention to the marriage. And that's a struggle. There's a whole lot of struggle out there. But she was an amazing personality, which I felt it's like, it's very rare to see such personality who's vivacious and got a great amount of a spirit to enlighten other people, to touch people's life. And she may not follow in the protocol as like a queen or the princess, but she was doing her job and connecting with the heart, and that is the beauty about her. And in her interview, when the spokesperson asked, or the interviewer asked her whether she wanted to be a queen, and she said no, she wanted to be a queen of the heart. And that's a beautiful statement ever someone who can have ever made in the history of the kings and the queens, and the dilemma of carrying the crown. But it's so true. You don't need a crown or a throne to rule someone's life and the world. All you need is acceptance that you can be the princess, you can be the queen, or you can be the king, and that's how you lead your life. Do the king and the queens and the mystical concept do exist in today's world? It's very hard to imagine, because we're struggling with a phase where there's world war going in somewhere, or where there's a war going, not a world war, sorry, but a war going in somewhere. People are losing jobs, and there's COVID, the pandemic has its slow moving impact, but it's surely impacting many aspects of life, and already have impacted many societies. And then we are redeveloping our economical front, and that's gonna take years to see how the industry gonna boom back, and how people are getting employed and people are coming back to life. And not just that, there are a lot of natural calamities happening. There are earthquakes and the loss of that. So we need to understand, when life is so very precious, and somebody who's ruling in that particular level to hold the life together and to save life, it takes a lot of intellect, it takes a lot of understanding, it takes a lot of growth and development of political development to observe from from maybe dimensions, for see the world in their hand and nurture and administer such practices, and except for the fact that all your thinkings and decision making will have a huge impact upon life, upon society, and upon people, and the future. So we have to observe in all that aspect. But Princess Diana was not someone who would be fit for that particular role as as a queen to rule, but she would have been if she would have been alive so far, because what she wanted to do in this lifetime is to gain that attention what she never got from her husband, through connecting with the people and with the society, with the kids and with the children. And that is mind blowing, and she nailed it. She won it, and that's about her life. And when somebody of that vivacious nature give love and caring to their kids, the kids feel the whole world in front of them. They don't need the toys to play. They got their mommy, and that's a beautiful mother with that beautiful insights of heart and mind to nurture them, and they got the entire world. And when she'd been separated and she'd been divorced, already the kids have been going with the tensions, but sooner or later they have to understand that not just a separation and divorce, but she's lost and it's been killed or been murdered. There she's dead, that for the fact. I think the entire life of Diana was something I don't want anybody to go through it, because when you give so much of love, because you never got that love, and there was nobody to understand that, and when you're connecting on the forefront with the society, with the people who just want what you give, and they doesn't have anything to give you in return but to know what you are made of. And when she was keep giving, and then vivaciousness is affecting to the worldwide. And on the contrary, you have your inside home frictions going on, which is not very good, and she got these beautiful kids to nurture and care for. And it's there is this very tragic thing that you can't even express what you feel to your mother-in-law or to anybody, because they're queens, and they have their jobs to do, and there's a big wall, and that can never be shaken. So it's difficult. Either she can write a book, or she can speak to somebody out there and express herself, and she knows that if she would do so, the consequences would be very difficult to watch and to accept. So, and she made a point that she don't want to continue further. Maybe she knew that her life is coming to a halt, and it's nothing wrong to express and walk away. And job is a job. Job as a mother, job as a wife, job as a girl, or someone's daughter-in-law. Every role what a woman play in her life is a job, is a duty to her society, to her family, and to the politics in general. So we need to understand what woman is made of. A woman's life is not so very easy, but if someone who's gifted with everything, and they do not understand what they have, it's a very very sympathetic approach towards it, because it's something like you should know what you are made of, and that's very much important in life. Your self-realization, your self motivation is something can encourage you to do supreme role and duties in life. um so when if you just see Prince Harry, like when he got a chance to grow, he lost the mother, because and before that there was a tension of divorce and separation, and that's two people are not together, probably there would be fights, and the kids have to face this all things, and then they might be raised from the home in a different schools or colleges, and the separation again lead to separation anxiety in the children. And when the kids understand that's going to be divorce with my mom, and mom, we are not staying with the mother, but we are staying with the father who is rich and royal, but he got an affair, and although we are connecting, but with the fear that what's gonna be happening and how it's gonna be dressing to us. So that's kind of again a lot of pressure onto the little brain who wanted to nurture and grow and be enjoyable with the mother. and on the contrary, the mother was doing so much for the children, but she been asked to leave the kingdom, and in a few months she been killed. So it all gives them a post-traumatic stress disorder, and that PTSD or that trauma would have been so severe into that little mind and subconsciously, that it comes out like a repulse effect, So whomsoever is in front of you, you feel like to be rejected, you wanted to do wild things, you just wanted to go out there and feel life or enjoy, drink, booze, whatever party hard, and then, take life for a toss, because the question is, why she been killed? Why only my mother had to go through it? And that particular question is always subdued in their subconscious mind, but they are unable to express it out. So it's kind of like a subjective element, which I feel um, it's very deep, and so deeper that even if you become a husband or a father or be someone, it never goes, it never washes out, and that sorrow is always there, though they are being getting everything more than what other kids or probably their friends or friends groups, or again the restriction not to have peer groups, again the restriction not to go out or to be with the other clan groups or other group of the people like the way you want to be. You don't have any freedom, but you have to make wiser choices, because with every action there is repetition of the royal family which you need to keep it up, and so those restrictions bind them again to not to be outspoken, not to go out with the people they want to be with, maybe Americans, maybe people from Canada, maybe people from Spain or whatever, that they can do, but not with the US, which is like open hearted people, and pretty much of freedom. Um, so it's like, the British always have restrictions, and US doesn't have that kind of restrictions. But you have to see, when US doesn't have the restrictions, that's when you land up into having a lot of affairs or drugs and alcohol abuse and many more depiction of many other aspects of life. But when you have a lot of restrictions, you follow only one channel and one direction and one duty and responsibility, and keep continuing doing that and that and that. So when you continue doing many things, it becomes monotonous. So you don't have freedom, but the person wanted to express and wanted to have freedom, wanted to feel life. It cannot be caged for a long. So if you see the episodes of Prince Harry, how he was in a very young age, is very charming, good-looking guy who's full of life and wanted to enjoy, wanted to go out there and play around in the field and be in the arms of the mother, and just leave the entire world out there, but feel the world in her. So that's what was his personality. And when that's been lost, you've been given with another personality to live with, who's unlike her, and he is full of restrictions and rules and regulations, and on the contrary have another person whom the kids cannot accept as a mother, to be very frank enough, and they've been subjected to face her or accept her even if they don't want to. So the natural mother is dead or dying, and the artificial mother or someone who's subjective as a mother, uh, kids can never accept it. That's my natural, and you cannot force them, but all the father's doing the duty to take care of, nurture them, understand them. But he got his interest, and he has to keep it up with that, and it's a different choices what people make, and then they realize for the fact that they made the wrong choice in the end. But it's too late though, right? um so first of all, if you see what a person like Prince Harry has gone through, is post-traumatic disorder or stress disorder, a PTSD or a trauma which is so deeper um, in a very young age. And that too, he got a very extroverted personality, which is like, at that point in time when he wanted to like explore the world is a time when he lose the mother, and the dad can cause abandonment issues, and then divorce and separation already is a part of the environment. So a separation anxiety disorder. So all that thing can pile up to a personality which can be submissive, can be controlled by other people, other forces, and who feel acceptable among the crowd, who has freedom, and who can make him feel free. But on the contrary, he cannot judge the people correct, he cannot observe the people correct, because whom he think as a freedom is really not the freedom. He's actually utilizing his royalty and his charm to control him to get what they wanted, and not what he should be getting it. So he can't be subjected to the peer groups and the people, or the selection of the relationship, who can actually take away things in order to get the focus point or the spotlight to be faced onto them, not to him. So what he wanted and nurtured, that upbringing, is not he's not getting it through those people, but he's failing to understand it. It just because he's feeling the freedom, and in order to feel the freedom is accepting those people who is giving them a sense of freedom, but it's actually not a sense of freedom. It's something regaining their attention and fulfilling their dreams, and uh, paying attention to a new person in their life, which has got other plans in picture. So it's too late though, for him as well, because the kids are born, and of course, so your action, how your parents have gone through, you don't want to give the same life to your kids for sure, because the children are innocent life, they don't know how they have been brought up into the environment, and what they're subjected to go through. And in America, divorces are very easy and simple, but the consequences of those divorces upon the children is far, far impactful. And it's in the British, at least the British have the colonial culture, and it's restrictive. It's again a different type of mental health what the children will go through, but divorce is happening anywhere anyways. It doesn't look for color, creed, or culture, or religion. It's just a matter of whom you select to be your partner for lifelong, and accept their drawbacks, and make you to work onto this drawback and recover those drawbacks, or just accept the way how they are. So the marriage is a beautiful concept of two people living. I really, really like the relationship of Elizabeth too, and Prince Philip. Although they must have gone through their ups and downs in the marriages, but the way those two people are contributing to each other's life is worth appreciating. And Queen is a queen, because of the king. Here, the king is called as a Prince Philip though, but he was a real, pillar for the queen to sustain with those pressure and those kind of forces what she been driven for. She couldn't have taken the role well, or probably even if she would have taken the role, she would have been subjected to many other targets if she would have been alone, unlike Diana. But she got a beautiful person next to her who was very understanding, very calm, composed, and really liked Prince Philip. In his younger age, he'd been looking like a movie star, and he got a Nobel degree, and although he was from the royal family, but he was servicing to the countryman for his nation and working on the ship. So in the Navy forces. So that's a strength which she got. A woman needed strength from her husband. She doesn't need anything else. She just needed a husband's support, understanding, and strength to stand by herself, in terms of calamities, in terms of ups and downs, in terms of sorrow, in terms of everything. And Queen is being exposed into not just small role but big role which is full of danger, role full of politics, role full of no innocence, no life, no space for innocence, but place for intellect, place for politics, place for cause for life and death, not just your life and death, but cause for other people's life and finances and economical development and redevelopment, realignment, and many things such. So it's a different level of responsibilities. That's why in her dialogue she rightly mentioned the crown was too heavy for her. Absolutely, because when you wear the crown, you feel maybe beautiful, but it's not the beauty. It comes with responsibility. Even if you take any pageant, of like Miss World, Miss Universe pageant, it comes with sense of responsibility, and how well or how beautiful you take over that responsibility. That's what the crown symbolizes for. And the throne is not the throne just to rule, but the throne is someone who can sit in that position and administer the duties and responsibilities well, which is being driven to you, given to you by the ancestors or from the senior authorities. But however, the responsibility and the duty comes directly from the God. And when the God says you to do something, you adhere to it and you redevelop it with your creative mind. That insights come with the God. So the throne is a throne given to the queen, to do many responsibilities and duties, to not to conquer the world, but to let the world be in a peace and a driven force to stabilize what should have been an upheaval. So she was very strong and emanative figure, whose vibration, whose energy, whose wisdom and strength was a center point, not of attention, but a center point of a lot of conversation, a lot of thinking. And those conversation, those politics can go in any direction if she wouldn't have stayed stronger in her position. Her strength was characterized as a strength of the center point for many things can go wrong, or everything can be stabilized or developed to next level. So the queen did her role quite spectacularly. And in COVID or in during the pandemic, so many people have lost their life, and it's her dialogue that we will be back again, we will live again, we will smile again with our family and friends. And that is something amazing too. If you see anything she must have addressed, there's no such research upon her in controversy or interviews, or there's not much evidence about her interviews in general to notify what she must have said. But it's her dialogue in the parliament or in the speech among the other councils and the other presidents that says all. And a little bit of dialogues when people have captured her, during her outings, or being with her grandchildren. It's her dialogues which says many things. It's like a woman carrying many roles in her life, but she got the calm, she got the peace to think even beyond what you can imagine for, and that very beautifully and co-constructively. There is not only just construction of thinking, but there is a co-construction of thinking. So she was not doing it alone. She was doing it in alignment of divine forces. She was doing it in alignment of supreme um, nature, creations. So she was a very creative personality. She was not someone who was destructive. Um, I don't want to say anything, but we can see the destruction with different other precedents too. So she was not someone who was destructive, or she was not someone who wanted to bring the disharmony in people's life or in the country. With the rules and regulations being meant or amended in order to protect that country, in order to um, be very distinctive from other terrorist nations, or probably in interferences of unwanted forces. And she wanted to make Britain the Britain how it has been said to be, because that's a very strong country and their currencies are always on the higher levels because of the discipline, because of the administrations, because of the high restriction. So parents are always restricting their children not to go out or to meet with people or your peer group. It's because, or not to speak everything out of the family, or they're restricting the children to study and adhere to the studies and education. It's because they want to raise them in certain credential where the outside forces cannot even touch them or be a disruptive element for them. On the contrary, they gotta be contributing into the family to the next level. So so the monarchy is not the monarchy of the kingdom only. It's a monarchy which you can symbolize it in every family. So the queen was doing the job as a wife, as a mother, as a great grandmother, as a grandmother too, and she did it in a very beautiful way. Not just that, she was a beautiful daughter to her king, King George and Elizabeth, and also she was a beautiful sister, was very understanding, despite her young sister could not gain that kind of respect or a dignity or probably a name and fame in the politics, but she was very nurturing queen. She was someone who was ready to contribute for the development if they would open their heart and come forward to it. And she is not someone who will embrace somebody or try to disrupt someone or try to put someone down or pressurize them down. Even for the death of Diana, people must have thought it could be Queen's decisions, whatever. But no, I do not believe in it, because if you see her personality from all the angle, it could be for the reputation of the monarchy. She might have said to divorce, but not to kill her. She was someone who has to keep up with that dignity and respect. It's because when you say that's a threat to whatever the duty you've been doing, it's a threat to somebody else, that is defamation again. And why would you say anything to the queen? Because you don't understand. You are just a princess, and then the role for you again has a limitation. The role for the queen has no limitation. It is always subjected with higher tensions and problems and responsibilities upon your shoulder. And when you're doing your job right, just do it right, but do not say that's a threat. Even if you feel it, do not defame them, because that's going against to her. So if you were to see the queen's life from the very beginning, she is always subjected with target of disgracement, or probably some people don't want it to even if people accept her, bow down to her, but some or the other person try to, pinch her or put the sword in her heart, and that's a constant way that you have seen even in her handwriting, which I will do in my next episode on interpretation on Queen Elizabeth handwriting. It's very clear. It's very very clear. She got a heart pain. She got a pain in her heart that despite she's doing good jobs and great things to the country, and one of the supreme force with her strength, the entire country, the entire world was maintaining that equilibrium and maintaining the position. She was a center point of the entire globe, and her strength, her driven force of her wisdom, her charisma, and her enlightenment was so very strong that the other nations were looking at her and cannot even touch her throne or cannot even say anything. So, to that personality, you should never say anything wrong, right? And yeah, so I never seen that Meghan Markle have given a direct response or target to the Queen, but yes, of course, you don't like certain things, and when you want to be getting appreciated, you're not being appreciated. So that's kind of it's subjective, and young generation will never bow down because when young generations are spoiled kids and spoiled children, they don't even care what's a crown, what's a throne. So they just wanted to get their attention and get their freedom done. So it just because of the generational gap, and how the generational gap is trying to outcast the old generations of probably the centuries ago what is being amended and being implemented. They wanted to utilize it in this generation with the expression of freedom and spirit of freedom. So out of freedom, they don't see anything out there, but the freedom will cost you, and that's exactly what they're going through. So the Queen played her last card so very well, and the entire planning being executed so very well to teach Prince Harry that never to go against to the Queen and never to say against to anybody who been your grandmother and who raised you when you lost your mother. And she was a universal love for you, and when you go against to her, I remember one thing: she was carrying the heart of a mother to for him, and a mother gets hurted. So if you hurt her somewhere down the line, you need to realize that embarrassment. And today, whatever Prince Harry is going through is a mere embarrassment, a mere pettiness, what we all are feeling, and I feel really sorry for him. But I don't want Prince Harry to go through this kind of phases. But his last salute to the Queen, along with other cousins, and that is worth watching million times. His body gesture, his face, and his expression, and saluting to the monumental figure whom he denied and whom he disappointed, and very badly. That hurt, hurting and pain is always there with the Queen. That whom she loved to the most is disobeyed and gone against her and disrespected her. However, whatever she wanted to teach the grandchild has been well taught and is worth watching, guys, because this can happen to not just to the monarchy. Today it's in the royal family. It can happen to any royal family. It can happen to any family. It can happen to any home, in any small home or any family, right? So every home, every family is a monarchy, and when a woman loves the kids and the children, she does it with whole grace. She does it with nothing in return. She does it um, with selflessness, with no need to repay her, no need to give her in return, like just to give away, right? But when you hurt her, that that hot and that beautiful woman, and when you try to defame, or when you try to demoralize her, then you have to pay for it, and that is the real cost, what is being paid or is being paid by Prince Harry. Nevertheless, I have to say one more thing. Um, it's her heart, and she was a very strong-hearted woman. She was, descended from aristotelian a figure, so very strong-hearted, and she got a love for animals, and she was very close to the pets and earthly elements, and that's a very driven force again, which is very natural and very very much earthly. So, and she was a Taurian, so she was an earthly zodiac sign too. So these earthly people will have a natural tendency to be more deeper, to be more subtle, to be more sustained in their emotions, but with the truth that the deep and that warmth should be appreciated, because there's a natural way to blossom out certain things, and there's a natural way to die out something. So yeah, so even Virgo, Virgo is again an earthly element, right? So Prince Harry is a Virgo, I suppose. So uh, about the throne, about the kingdom, who's gonna be ruling next is again a big question, because as far as I have observed, King Charles, he could have taken the role well, but he will never be fit into that role because his short temperament and his love for quick things, and doesn't have that patience, and in this age a lot of anxiety and stress, that what I can see it in him. And he got physical ailments as well, something with his hand, so his hand is like desensitized, or a little bit of desensitization, and that can irritate him quickly and lose the patience, and all this can lead to big turmoil, and I'm sure people are very sensitive, they don't want to accept something of that sort of. So if you give that throne to Prince William, what's going to happen is Prince William is someone who's like a doctor, who has did his degree well, who did his studies well, who's like a doctor, and he's very peaceful. If you give him this particular throne and a title as a king, he will do the job. Um, However, he has observed many things happening in the family. Um, a separation of mother, then loss of a mother, and being an elder child, have to be there with the practice, and he was very obedient child. So, and a very loving and very dedicated husband. And also somewhere when his reputation went bad, or like being caught into extramarital affairs, he tried to correct it and come back to not to move into the testing times, but to come back to the reality and accept to the fact that it's not gonna be again, and do the job well. So he's doing his job well, but again, this separation and whatever his brother is facing, it's somewhere impacting him too, but he's hating him to the core. Why? To get the Netflix into the picture. When it's a royal family, it's a royal family, so you should keep the media out, and that is again it very irritating and very disappointing to many people to see. why the Netflix things should come, along with Prince Harry during the funeral time, or whatever we say, like there is a hidden camera or whatever. We don't know what the reality or the truth is, but that's, if they are bringing it on inside the royal family, that that will irritate everyone, that will piss off everybody's attention, and even if you wanted to gain certain sympathy and respect, you will lose that also, that 100, that 1% over there. So keep the media out always, because media can pay you money, but what you're gonna lose is relationship, and relationship is far higher than the money is, because you lose your blood and your soul, family, your tribe, and your relationship. Money can not replace it for you. You can buy money, materialistic objects, to make you feel that smile, but your heart and your soul, your mind, your subconscious, and your blood, look for your own blood and clans. So uh, that's something you should be avoiding for. And I think it's just to wait and watch what's going to happen, because the depiction of her handwriting says there's a hurting gesture in her, in Queen Elizabeth, and she never expressed it out to anyone. But it's her hurting that she gonna carry it along in her last stages, and with that hurt she gonna pass away. With that hurt, somebody equally is getting hurted, and that hurting is gonna take over the throne. It's nobody else. So you just have to understand Queen's heart is connected somewhere with the pain, and the pain is connected equally with someone, and the throne is gonna be pulled by the heart again with that one person, and you have to keep your fingers crossed who that person is. So the heart is going to be replaced with the crown and with the throne. So it is just worth watching in the coming time who's going to be the real king. It's not Prince Charles, it's not we who think we are. The inside depth about the throne is the throne of Queen Elizabeth's father, connected with the heart, to given to the daughter. She carried along with her heart, did her job right, and her hurting to her heart is equally getting connected to someone's heart out there with the same amount, same friction of pain, and that pain will pull back that person to his throne. So there's a lot of twists to see. Again, one thing about Prince Harry is now what he's doing as a coach, and being a life coach to a big enterprises, and is reaching out with the people. Just the same way how you can see the personality of Diana is. So the traits of Prince Diana is so symbolized with, so resonating with the Prince Harry, and is going out there vivaciously despite there's humiliation, despite there's a breakup from the royal family, despite every borders he's wanting to cross through to reach people, maybe to make money, or maybe to make his sustainability in US. But that's a beautiful job. Again, he can do real estate jobs, or he can do anything else, or enter into different politics altogether, or be a star in the media. But he is doing as a coach, he's taking the role as a coach. So that's something again to watch, because the throne again asks for connection with the people, who can connect very but naturally with the people. So the throne is a question. It's not yet filled. It will not gonna be filled until the heart and the mind, the vibration of the people is getting that right person back to the throne. I suppose I'm making sense out here. So the prediction cannot go wrong. Not just the predictions, but it's something which I'm observing the handwriting. And as far as the embarrassment is going with one particular person, and looking at their connections earlier, looking into their emotions earlier, looking into their relationships earlier, there's a certain pattern which is saying the infinity. It's like what is being done going back to someone, and then it's going to be reigned again. So the monarchy is nothing but infinity. It's been continuing, it will continue, and will always be there, right? So there's an infinity symbol in there. So what she's gone through is a hurt, and what she's gonna give back is a hurt to someone, and that someone is gonna take over the throne. So I suppose I made things very clear here. So the insight is all about lessons learned, chapters learned, duties well observed and done, and duties to take over. So until the next insights with me, I'm gonna be coming up with the interpretation of Queen Elizabeth II. Is a beautiful personality, a great personality in the historical time, and no one ever have replaced her, and no one ever can replace her. But the monarchy is yet to be continued with the heart to the throne. Keep watching. Stay tuned until the next insight. This is me, Sharon, saying you goodbye.
We've been cleared for takeoff.